on top. Quit, I think not. Coming hot for the #1 spot, yeah. No key, got the game on lock, ayy. Big threes when I take my shot, ayy. On the rise and we ain't gon' drop on the grind. It's our time, just watch. If you want it, you can get it. Life gets hard, but don't you let it get you down. Go get the crown because our time is now. Ayy, we gotta get it. Gotta get up, gotta go, we gotta get it. Ayy, they won't forget us. Made it happen and we all became legends. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it. We can't be contained when we leave the game. My name will remain. We don't need the fame. You can keep this chain. We broke free so things won't be the same. Nah, on the mission, gotta get it, let's work. You were raised on the net, I'm raising my net worth. But it ain't about the money, nah, it ain't about the cause. All that matters is the world knows who we are. Stars. If you want it, you can get it. Life gets hard, but don't you let it get you down. Go get the crown because our time is now. Hey, we gotta get it. Gotta get up, gotta go, we gotta get it. Hey, they won't forget us. Made it happen and we all became legends. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it. Know that our time is now. Yes, life can get hard, but don't ever let it keep you down. See, we are all kings and queens and we all deserve crowns. So don't wait. Get up, go out and get it. Now. Hey, we gotta get it. Gotta get up, gotta go, we gotta get it. Hey, they won't forget us. Made it happen and we all became legends. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it. We gotta get it.
You guys know that we will always be back. Overwatch will always be back. We are here. So we see quite a dominant performance from Ange. They are living up to a reputation that we did not give them credit for, apparently, Cheetos.
Yeah, I'm eating my words here. Or at the start of this cast, I was saying that Marvel's Rivals is the team we should look for, having 3 dominant players that I personally know of: Fable, Risen, and Sushi. Just like Zodian Blue, Prince Tom, Soup, and Something Cat, just making me eat my words, and it's a delicious meal.
It is nice to watch, right? I mean, these fights have been close, but there is that slight upper hand, and we said it kind of off air now. It's nice to watch cool things being done well, and that's what all of these guys are bringing. We're heading out to Circuit Royale, again, Marvel's Rivals pick. It means that we give now a very different dynamic. They wanted to brawl in the streets. When you get to the Royale, gotta be a pick comp, gotta be a snipe comp, gotta have something to abuse these long sightlines.
I do think we're gonna see the Widow come out here from Fable. Him being a hit-scan player, that is his comfort, and hopefully Goku brings out the Genji. He kind of wants to be known for the Genji, but he hasn't really shown us him playing Genji. He's just been playing a Reaper, so I think the Widow and the Genji here would be an interesting dynamic and a duo to see coming out from them.
Yeah, I like that. Goku has been great to watch on the Reaper. Weirdly enough, I know him better for the Reaper, but yeah, I want to see a bit of a matchup right now. I want to see the blue can do it, I can do it better kind of Goku-esque mentality. It's very fitting of the character. So they've got to do something. And Fable there already was flashing the Widowmaker. I wouldn't be surprised to see Fable on the longest range damage that we could get. Yeah, okay. So it's gonna be the Sojourn, still the longest range threat with that beam. Instead, they go for Goku on the Soldier 76. Otherwise, pretty standard from their side in terms of Pocom. Ange?
Ange is matching it. Well, matching more. The dive of the Winston is, I think, good for them. I'm quite interested into why the Widow or Ashe is not being picked and favored instead for the Sojourn here. I do think the Genji from Goku, he should be going Super Saiyan into the backline, honestly. I think the Genji pick here could be important, especially if you're playing into his Zen. but obviously they don't know what they're going up against. I'm just a bit... At the beginning, it felt like Marvel's Rivals were the more stable comp. But we can see here Orange setting up for a dive over that wall here.
Goes up, gets it right, slides down, spots out the back line. Draws a lot of aggro, a lot of resources, but also forces out a lot from his own team. Immortality Field down. They get the nice pick on Goku. It was all a ruse, all a distraction. Follow the big monkey and watches your team now gets decimated in the back line. Blue picks up a second, very low HP, and unfortunately for Marvel's Rivals, the Winston that they would need is on the other side. Doing too much work, completely pushed out, and on that lovely Discord orb that keeps him alive while he goes very deep. And look at this!
Big snipe.
They are relentless.
He's chasing them back to spawn doors. There, Winston goes finally down. Again, it just feels like Marvel's Rivals is not calling out what's happening.
Yeah, there's a big disconnect between the two of them. A big pick goes out as both teams lose their. There's Zenyatta, but it's the kill on blue that's going to send Ange Fan Club walking all the way back to spawn now.
Fortunately, Risen almost has the Transcendence here for the Blade. Hopefully he can build it up just before the fight starts so that if Blade comes out, he can counter that.
Everyone else just kind of posturing. The two Sigmas delineating the line between them with their shields. We do have no gravitic flux, and a big pick comes out actually. Fable going to be the one to claim this accretion to send everyone else on the ground for a second. Everyone else from Orange going to be able to get back up, but that was a big enough signal that they needed. They need to wait.
But the longer these fights going, Marvel Rivals is going to start like feeling at the... I think the ult from Orange's team is going to be a bit stronger, right? The Visor is a good ult and it gives you a bit of aimbot, but I don't think it's enough to go through these teams, to burn through Orange.
There's no space here though for Orange to walk forwards. They've gone straight now into a wall. It's gonna have to be the Blade, but there's the Transcendence. Everything you wanted, all the time in the world for Risen to get that. Now doesn't have that available. Transcendence from Something Cat keeps him alive through the gravitic flux, and they do get one kill after all of that, but that one kill is more of a symbol. Marvel Rivals gonna fall quickly after everything that they had was dropped there. Payload finally confirmed.
I'm just sitting here just watching. I feel like it feels like Orange is just showing us how to dismantle a team 101. Again, the Blade forcing out that Transcendence, giving Something Cat the ability to have the better Trank, but they're meeting each other now here. Hopefully Prince Tom can get that big Gravatic Flux, stopping them from touching point here. But we do have the double ults on both teams, but the Bob coming up quicker.
Unfortunately, every bit of damage mitigation thrown out between the Sigma and the Genji, and eventually it still wasn't enough to get Genji out. Now Sigma running for the hills. Fan Club has got everything that they need. Marvel Rivals has got a good spot right now. Goku could actually use this high ground position to rain down damage if there is pressure, and pressure coming from every side here from Marvel Rivals. Just looking for something. This is going to be an explosive start.
Yeah, this fight they're gonna meet. I think the Flux is going to be popped immediately, pulling them up, and the Bob just to maybe pressure that point and like pressure the backline here. But Blue again coming up on that Blade, and we know how volatile he is. There's the Flux.
Flux to start us off here from the Orange Fan Club. Immortality Field was there to keep everyone up. They've still got a nice bit of damage mitigation from the Sigma, and everyone walks away from it. Even the Bob stopped and said, oh, isolated targets. The Sojourn, the Zenyatta, those are two key picks that Orange needed to get into this. Goku tries to rally behind the Sigma. The ultimate just does nothing, doesn't get what they want. Ego with the constellation pick actually gets two out of that. Everyone else from Orange Fan Club, they've got Marvel Rivals beaten long ago. Ego, the last one to fall. Payload secured. It really all came down to the aggression, the preemptive nature of that first Gravitic Flux from Orange.
And Rivals here have the three support, the three ults in the back, the double support ults with the Sojourn. Sojourn sitting on that ult for a while. Hopefully that gives them the upper hand that they need here. Licks on an insane angle here, just poking them out, making sure they can't actually see Orange and allowing them to take as much space as they are.
Yeah, that window are completely denied, and Licks will want to hold this for as long as possible as this payload comes around the corner. Actually decides to rotate around them. I think there was maybe a better angle before, but being part of the distraction squad is Blue going to be sitting here. They've lost some of the cats and they're deep behind enemy lines, so a long way to try to retreat out there. Dash having to be used, and Genji also being pressured out main. Marvel Rivals wants to hold this here and now. Fable showing the intent now with the railgun. All he manages to get is the immortality field, forces out the Transcendence. And somehow, Orange Fan Club, they lose an early pick, but they're quite content. It means that they take control of this high ground and force out so much from their opposition. They lose a little bit more on Marvel Rivals.
That was a
the payload.
really good window.
Ego was the only one to stop the payload. Now he's going to walk.
Yeah, that previous fight, Soup with the insane window, and he's already got window almost again. That, don't know. Fable with the big pick onto Blue, stopping them dead in the tracks, not giving him the option to Blade, but they can do the combo where they Blade and Trank just to keep that Genji up and run on the backline. Prince Tom showing very good aggressive here, farming that gravity flux really quickly.
That's not what you want to start with. You really want to throw everyone up and allow your DPS to get in position, try confirm a kill or two, take some abilities off the board. The Gravitic Flux to start, picks them up around the corner, gonna slam them down. Immortality Field keeps the supports alive. Genji tries to go in, but realizes that no one's low enough. There's a split fight coming out from Marvel Rivals, though, and we're gonna try to take advantage of that. He understands how important this high ground is on the right. Transcendence forced out. And it just means Blue has to throw everything. They've decided this is the fight they want to take, and they're going for it. They're getting what they need. Soup somehow on the Baptiste, that buff was everything he needed to track down some key targets and add to the fight. But Marvel Rivals, they had to throw out every wave of survival that they needed, and they laugh it off and keep coming.
I think there was a bit of a slight miscommunication there on Orange's side with Blue and Something Cat, because the idea there was perfect. You use the Zenyatta ult, the Transcendence, to make it so that Genji can freely just run around and slice, because a big problem with the Genji Blade is often that he becomes so vulnerable, right? You have to decide whether you play safe but not get your picks or not get value, but still that wasn't needed. Orange feels like they're a headless chicken running around, not being able to focus the targets they need to focus, not being able to execute how they want to pick. Fable coming out with the Widow here, I think that is going to be really, really exciting to watch. The team playing the characters I think they should have been playing the whole time, if I'm being honest here. But the shield from Prince Tom will prove difficult.
That's the big thing, right? Is the Widow's finally come out, but I think it's been read. I think it's too late. Orange knows that Marvel's Rivals needs a very good showing here to even get them to a second round. And Marvel Rivals has kind of gone all in and said, you know, the characters themselves are pretty easy to hit, mainly Soup on the Baptiste or even Blue. But Lix is going to be annoying as hell to play into. Prince Tom's going to have a shield, and they're setting up in a cheeky, sneaky position. They're sitting underneath. They want to get the charge out and take the fight right into the face. Idea. There it goes, the charge. The sleep is out. The anti-heal means Ryan needs to stay alive, but everyone's with them. Immortality Field, just as a nice precautionary measure. Widow does have some space on the high ground with this kill box, but aren't just kind of showing where they want to be. They're going to rotate all the way around, and unfortunately, Widow, you do not deal super well up close. Even the Fire Strike to finish it off. I love it. This is such a predetermined play from Ange to finish it off.
I think it was quite unfortunate there that Marvel Rival supports fell so quickly. They had no healing in the backline. The squishy feels like they're very squishy, but Ange just going the aggression here.
As Tom decides to get back towards the team, actually everything being forced out in response to a big anti-heal grenade. Ange just being able to stay through, but they don't have a lot left. They've still got a May War if they need some space, but it's Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals saw their opportunity. They saw some sort of weakness, and they tried to throw everything at it, and Ange just stood tall against it. Marvel Rivals get everything.
I feel like this is where I was saying we want Goku on the Genji, but he doesn't seem to be as comfortable into that Symmetra, just going through his deflect. they've got the double, the Symmetra and the Mei to just go negate the deflect. So
Yeah.
I'm interested into seeing how Marvel Rivals responds to all of this.
Prince Tom drawing the line where he wants to fight. We've got a big wall to play. That's a great position around the corner as well. Blue goes a bit too far outside of its safety confines and pays with their life. There's the only casualty so far. No Soup. What a breaker disruptor shot. The damage going through the wall. Fable understands this hero. Those are some big picks coming out. Marvel Rivals has dismantled with this big setup and now has some space to work forward.
But like Zodian's still providing that pressure with the right clicks from Mei, not giving Fable that comfortable or that comfort that he wants or the openness, still being looked at, forcing him to back off a bit. I think it was good that the two of them got out and oh no, something had died early.
Oh, they were wanting to hold this first corner. It gives them so much more space to work with, more space to retreat to, and they just can't. Something Cat wants to get aggressive and put in that last bit of damage that they needed to build up the sound barrier and just gets picked. Still, they hang around. They know where they want to go. Prince Tom, it's a big play now, waiting for the shield to be committed from the Sigma. And instead, the progressive play comes out. Nano boosted Fable trying to get the damage in there. Just says, if you want to come out. Instead, the was there. Big Freeze to come out afterwards. Transcendence to cover the rest of Marvel Rivals so they can still stay healthy here. Nice anti-heal. They got everyone low, forced out the immortality. Just need to slice through, and they've even gotten Something Cat to drop that sound barrier late into the fight. Something Cat pulled off a miracle though. Has Orange Fan Club actually turned this around? They have. Goku decides not to invest the blade. Marvel Rivals, they get defeated by a trickling in Orange Fan Club.
Support's dying, I feel like, quite early in Marvel Rivals. Made sure that they don't have the sustain to weather the storm. But hopefully Goku knows that now. Oh, big picks from Fable and the sleep onto the Rhine, the anti. Surely the blade comes out now.
There's no space. We see the immortality fields down, so they're not under that time pressure. He just needs to make his way forward, and most importantly, they need to get the touch. They do get the touch. Gravitic Flux to get anything that they need. They don't need the blade. That early pick was enough. Marvel Rivals secures this on a nice cheap fight.
That was a misplay from Prince Tom, unfortunately. I don't think he should have charged. They should have respected. I think Marvel Rivals is a team that if you give them like a centimeter, they take a meter. You should kind of respect them, even though they've been running over them a bit. But I think Goku knows that they don't have the beat here, so his blade will be kind of free. But the hazard coming out being very hard to deal with, as we saw earlier. That the insane pick, no blade needed.
No blade available right now. Goku falling early into this, and Orange, they stay alive. These immortality fields from Soup have been on point every time. It even gave Prince Tom a lot of fight in the last fight. Now he's going to have to use it more aggressively, and Prince Tom wants to go with the aggression. Unfortunately, it's too much damage. It's the gain, the nano boost combines with the railgun and chews through the tank. Chews through your backline as Exodian gets picked off, and Marvel Rivals goes, okay, bring the fight to us. We've got what we need.
I think it's worth mentioning that Something Cat died randomly. You can see question marks in the chat. I'm still unsure about how he died, if he fell off or if the... Yeah, that is something that I would really want to know, because he died before the fight started.
That's big, actually. The ability to lose your building to the beat now gives Marvel Rivals everything they want. Again, combining Transcendence and Dragon Blade to ruthless efficiency. Cuts through everyone. And points secured for Marvel Rivals.
And that is the Genji I've been wanting to see from Goku. Showing us the pentakill. And just absolutely showing us why he should be known as a Genji. That was really good blade. Even going through, they committed the beat and the rush. I don't think they committed the rush, but the beat definitely was committed there. Prince Tom going to have to do a good downpour with Hazard's ult and getting those picks, but we know that he has these pick potentials on the Hazard. He is absolutely lethal. Some would even say he's a freak.
Somewhat. I'm personally not labeling him that. But if that's how he identifies, great. Hazard, though, going ahead with everything. Ultimate picks up two big squishy characters that can make a big impact, survives through it all, and Prince Tom, when he first came out on the Hazard, showed the intent, got a clean team fight. He got overwhelmed on points by good use of ultimates, but Marvel Rivals still has to respect Prince Tom and the aggression he's showing out here. Also coming in with lots for the next fight, so...
If it isn't Goku, it's Tom. And I think legally he should change his username to King Tom after these plays. He's showing an absolute insane performance. Dividing the team, clearly looking at Fable.
He's seriously forced out, and it's not enough. Prince Tom gets taken down at the beginning of the fight. That gives Ego the chance to start charging forward, force out the Kiriko. Knows they're going to try and TP, even Luxodian trying to TP. But one by one, they're just putting themselves in the middle of the firing line. Push back completely. Orange got something. They've still got another fight, but Marvel Rivals, there's a lot of fight left in them.
It's quite even with the ults on both teams, but blue with the Suzu being very important here for the two teams.
The ult's going out there. Suzu to protect, manages to buy Luxodian a little bit more time, but Fable tucking into a corner, trying to fight their way out. It's taken down by blue. Still a bit of a trade back and forth. Pivotal presence of Prince Tom, though. You can't take him out, you can't kill him, and he's gonna do damage. Cleans off the last little bit. Goku still wants to just try and exert a presence, die late. Marvel Rivals coming in with more, but Orange, they've rallied, they've got 10 seconds left to defend.
Blue's Transcendence here has to be perfect, because blue was showed very good restraint. They're not committing the blade as well, still having that threat, and also having the Hazard ult coming in.
Blade comes out, Suzu forced out, Transcendence in reply of it straight away. Denies all sort of movement, they try to reinforce onto point. Sigma's a little bit far forward, needed to be though, to try and contest that point. Kills start coming out, but they're all favored in blue. The streets are running dry right now for Orange as they try and keep themselves alive. Sound Barrier going to keep something cat for the moment, but eventually does fall down, and Marvel Rivals stay nice and healthy. Prince Tom, as you would expect, the Hazard, a long presence on the point, might be able to touch. There's still time. This is just for overtime. This is just to see if Marvel Rivals can actually make it through to that next match. All Orange has to do right now is stop this, and they win the game.
Nano coming up here from Risen is going to be very instrumental in them either winning, but Goku going absolutely Super Saiyan in the backline.
Big.
Getting 2 picks here. Absolutely playing the focus. Big pulse from Fable. Getting the Kiri. Goku just cleaning up Prince Tom. And Marvel's Rivals just showing that they won't die. They've used the time stone. They've seen all the possible outcomes. And this was the one.
Fight from behind. That is the story I want to see. They have done themselves so proud up until now. And Risen played, you wanted to see the Risen Anna. It's something that you've been calling for the whole time. You wanted to see it combined with a Goku Genji. And Risen played the ultimate sacrifice. Ultraism is my name, and I respect it when it comes out from others. Ultraism, from just dumping that nano boost, putting whatever they can in there. You know you got a trace on you. You know you're going to die. But you send your attack squad forward. They clean out the points. Oh, and Marvel Rival stays alive. They bring out the Mauga.
The Mauga into this. This is interesting. A Mauga into an Ana. That is something that I very much do not like, considering that Orange Fan Club does not have the Kiri to stop the anti-nade. Risen's antis and the Discord would just be insane. I think Marvel's Rivals on paper, their comp is going to be quite aggressive here. It's quite funny seeing that Orange Fan Club is running out the Mauga here, because Something Cat is known as the Mauga person in COWZA, so hopefully Prince Tom gets some pointers during the game from Something Cat telling him what to do a bit, but I don't think Tom needs that.
Just going to be a study session right now. Watch and learn. As we see Goku. Hanzo wouldn't actually be bad here against the Mauga. But a very aggressive charge. Immediate anti-heal. There's the slip compiled on with the CCs, with the very few ones left in the game. And you've now lost your big tanky frontline, Orange. You've got to run for the hills. What can you get the return out there. Ego going to be able to block it all off, and just looking for any picks right now. Marvel's coming out strong.
Yeah, that anti-nade and Risen Sleep just like reacting perfectly to the Mauga. That is not what you want to do on Mauga into this comp. You kind of want to play him a bit more pokey, force Ana to use her cooldowns, and then you strike. He's going in again, antied again, slept again, discorded. But Orange just like showing us, just keeping me quiet, just flipping the fight, getting all the picks needed. Tom surviving.
Okay.
And Orange just stopping rivals dead in their track.
Okay. He survived on, I think it was down to about 70 health. Was the lowest I watched his health bar go. That was insane. The fact that he survives through it. Like you said, he just charged in. The first time it didn't work. Gets anti-healed, gets slept, gets all the same treatments. But the team is a little bit more prepared for it. The Suzu came out, and that was at least 100 HP that you got boosted with. And Ange hold steady. They just show such aggression.
There was no Suzu. They were playing Judo Honor. Wobbles Rivals just didn't finish him off. It's quite unfortunate. I think killing the Mauga into a Mauga comp is what you need to do. You need to stop that Mauga, because while the DPS passive applies it, I think Mauga's burn, people underestimate that can also act as a DPS passive, like stopping that healing that you're getting from the Mauga because he's burning. So that was just, I think, a bit of a blunder from Marvel's Rivals.
Oh, I tell you what, they're playing better than I could right now. I'm astounded at how close these fights are becoming right there. Marvel Rivals, they came out strong. They demolished the first foray onto the point. They got themselves a little bit of a way around the corner. Orange Fan Club, though, always with an answer, always with a bigger punch. And Goku on the other side would be proud. I do admire that fighting spirit, but right now the fighting spirit, gonna have to see what Marvel Rivals comes out with. Pretty standard team comp. Goku still on that. Prince Tom going for the wrecking ball and immediately punished for it. Lives up to the aggressive nature, but Soup also going to be falling on the back line there. Goku even just chilling out for a little bit, admiring the scenery, letting his team reclaim the space. But Marvel Rivals flex, break their opponents.
Yeah, good reaction from Marvel's Rivals, killing Prince Tom before he can get out, like doing the hit and run. But he's coming in for another hit here. Big anti-nade from Risen here. Fable just stopping that as well. It's a scrappy fight here, just very scrappy.
And everyone from Marvel Rivals just keeps backing up. They're staying alive. They're getting the picks that they need. They got a Zenyatta chilling in the back line with the Ana. Goku's running back and forth into the fights. Fable's got the space that they need. And Orange again, rebuffed. Gotta escort the payload. Change to a Mauga again. It worked on the defense. Can it work on the offense?
But this time they've got the Kiri for the Suzu.
Yeah.
This will open up Prince Tom by so much. He can now kind of just full send it into the backline. Something Cat dying here does stop them a bit, not allowing them to just run in. But the Mauga here is just going to try and look and send it on their backline, with the Suzu is going to keep him up for longer. I think this is their plan. Their plan is to send Prince Tom onto Risen Sushi, and he just goes onto the backline. They're trying to react. Suzu big. The nano coming out. So Tom trying to keep just focusing targets. I'm a bit unsure what was happening.
Still alive. Gravity flux in the center, underneath. Ego just decides to take advantage of the split fights and decides to throw in there. Marvel Rivals always with more in the backpack. They've got the Transcendence. This was last fight territory, so don't blame Orange for full sending it. But Marvel Rivals had the answers. We were asking them to find those, and here they were. They flex. They destroy anyone with the hubris to come in too far. I mean, the anti-heals were there and waiting every time. And I mean, even with that Suzu, the Wrecking Ball, the Mauga, it doesn't matter. You blow up when Marvel Rivals is ready for you. So the fight from behind is still alive.
Are we going to see a reverse sweep? That is what I'm wondering.
No.
We had that insane dominance in that first round of Ilios from Marvel's Rivals, and then slowly Orange took it back, showed us what they're made of, and just kept being dominant. But Rivals here seeming like a more of an underdog, excelling in those fights where they're on the back foot.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this is it would be really exciting to see a reverse sweep coming in from them.
I like you, Cheetos. You're a dreamer. You're a man after my own heart, and I appreciate that. You got to keep the hope alive, and the hope still is alive for Marvel Rivals. We'll see. It's first step on a long journey against an orange side that does not give up easily, is their motto, it seems. So we'll have to see that. Guys, we're going to go to a very short break. I'm sure you know these teams by well. They had their very intense fight. We're going to be coming back to Suravasa. So as soon as we have everyone in the lobby, we'll chat about that. The action continues for, I cannot believe this, game number 2 of the Talon Cup weekend. The Talon Cup brought to you with the association of COWZA, competitive Overwatch South Africa, and you're gonna get it. You're gonna get the best Overwatch, the most fun vibes, the greatest action, the biggest individual plays. It's all here, Cheetos. Man, you're a player in the scene. You're a caster. You're doing a fantastic job on your first day, and this is Overwatch that makes you want to watch it, right?
Yeah, this is actually, I was not expecting to see this this back and forth that these two teams are showing. Marvel's Rivals just never saying die, and yeah, them showing Orange Fan Club why they are my favorite, why I am rooting. I'm going to be honest here to the stream. I am fully in support of Marvel's Rivals, and some people might not like that, but to them I say, pooey. This is my team, and them taking that Circuit Royale. Suravasa is an interesting pick here from Orange Fan Club. Good
transition. I like that. Pooey, Pooey Cheetos 2025. You guys got that quote. It's there in the VODs if you need it. I like that very strong sign. But it's good. I can see why you like it. We are in the game. A Suravasa Flashpoint. Flashpoint, I like it in terms of the competitive aspect behind it. It's frustrating as hell to play in pubs, but this is a fun map to move around, gives a lot of close quarters fights. These guys have got a ball, in my opinion, right? Still room for all your favorites?
I think they're gonna have to brawl. I think this is kind of gonna be a repeat of that Ilios game. because Survasso's Flashpoint is just kind of a big control game. So I think this is going to be a very back and forth tug of war between the two teams.
Oh, because that's what the rest of the series needed, right? We needed more of a back and forth tug of war between these guys. No, that's the best part about this. In terms of lineups, just hero picks. I mean, they've shown that they're very versatile from both of these guys. I mean, everything down to the Wrecking Ball has come out. So, thoughts? Your comfort picks?
I think we're going to see a very similar rush comp. Prince Tom on that Hazard. I really hope Marvel Rivals are prepared for that. But the Genji from Blue and Goku are going to have that face-off and match up again. This is pretty standard Flashpoint comps. These more brawly comps is what you want, because Hazard is considered a brawl hero, less than a dive hero. But yeah, I'm wondering what Risen is going to fill into this last slot. Surely it's a Kiriko.
Interesting, right? So you got the peel ability here for Marvel's Rivals backline to be able to survive if the Hazard does jump in on them, but they're gonna have to have quick reactions and good positioning the whole way through. Ego though, gonna have the propensity to throw and charge forward, loves to come back, always there to peel for the team, and Prince Tom are gonna pay for it. It's just such good composure being shown by Marvel Rivals right now. They're feeling buoyed up after their last victory. They execute as a squad. They stick together. It was Orange Fan Club taking a fight that they didn't have a lot of room in.
Marvel Rivals just going off of that momentum that they got in Circuit Royale, and I think that is very important here, is they've got that energy and that hype from like taking that map from Silver Scrapes over. Just playing really well, and Goku getting that pick on Blue was really good there. Hopefully he can get it again. Super bit out of position here, I would say. Hopefully they can capitalize on that.
But Marvel Rivals has baited them in from the side. They're consistently doing damage, and now they get to punish it a little bit. Risen will be able to take out the ever-present tank that's just not surviving long enough into these fights, and with that, the rest of Orange going to be falling as well. It's just the Hazard. Don't know if it's because it's a new hero or just like it's not as mobile when you've got so much flexibility from the Marvel Rivals, but right now, Orange struggling. They're still trickling out of the last fight. And
good lord, that is a big stagger from Fable there. I think something that is really important here is that the Junker Queen with her knife can pull the Hazard around, which means that she can pull him out of position. Suzu coming in, both supports ult committed. Surely we see a Junker Queen rampage here. Rampage hitting two people. Something Cat goes down. They trade the Lucios, but it just seems that the kill feed is coming up Blue.
Back.
The Hazard's back.
There's now got support, can actually go onto the points and stay alive for a little bit, create some space, gets taken down, Ego up to the task, so does eventually go down. There was just too much reinforcement, but Hazard draws so much attention. Point is flipped. Now Orange has a lot available for themselves.
And they flipped that really well. Again, I'm gonna point that out, chat. The blue Genji blade is up, and we know how potent this character is, or this player is. But at the same time, we do have Fable on the railgun. Surely these two players can do something with it. It's also important to note that Sushi has beat first.
Oh, something Cat on the verge of having it right now, but it could be a little bit too late. It is. Ego gonna go down, beat in response, but you've lost one, you've lost two. The blade has come through from Blue. He timed that to perfection when all the pressure was there from Orange. Blue finishes it off, and they get to laugh as they chase down their opponents.
This is just where we just need... Marvel's Rivals just need to group up a bit and go in with the plan. They do have that blade, but at the same time, both support ops from Orange Fan Club can stop them dead in the track. I'm hoping Exodian looks here for a pick. Ego is out of position here, being punished by the Hazard. Forced out. Sorry, I tripped over my words. They forced over the Moira ult, and Blue just cleaning up, and the first point goes to Orange Fan Club. Marvel Rivals were a bit dominant in the beginning, but it seems as soon as they lose that control, Orange Fan Club just thrives in that chaos.
Yeah, and that's it. Unfortunately, Orange are going to be forced into some chaos right now. They've lost something Cat early into this fight. They're going to lose Prince Tom as well. The mobility there just didn't allow the Hazard to get out, and we see the overwhelming wave of Blue now taking over And Hunch Fan Club, they managed to just clean off the point. That's going to be a great way for them to start off. Early percentages and even pad up their ult economy right now.
Yeah, Marvel's Rivals'
quickly,
ult
though, hey?
advantage here should be used effectively and just stop Orange Fan Club before they can move
There
up.
it goes.
That's good. That is what you
start
want.
us off. Yeah, that's a great early entry into it, and combining it there with a great, well-placed railgun shot. Goku gonna take that Prince Tom and Ange. They don't have the tempo makers anymore. They don't have the way to control this fight. All they have is retreat, and they've isolated off the poor Moira, last one to fall here. Nothing to be afraid of, and forces you into the waiting trap. Actually has got the railgun if they want to shoot this out.
They now
Instead.
have to give that bit of a space and play for that rampage, I would say. Ego getting caught out here. Maybe, maybe not. He gets out.
Yeah, comes all the Q buttons.
rampage.
Kitsune Rush, Death Blossom, the one to pick up the vast majority of the kills as separates late speeds into the fight, though. Means that you've only got the 2 people to work with, but it's great 2 people. Coalescence is a wonderful answer to both the Junker Queen and that elusive Lucio. Keeps everyone so nice and healthy, and Marvel Rivals just had too much in the bank, and they've still got more.
I think we're having a bit of a cost a curse here. Every time I tell Rivals what the plan is, what they need to do, it feels like Orange just has the answer. I don't know what it is. It just feels like Orange is playing a more consistent game, using their ults very well here, I would say.
Keelan being run dry a little bit, decides to go aggressive. There's Orange. When in the dire situation, they go forwards. Good TP out from the Kiriko, but I don't think it's going to get you that far. Still hunting down as everyone picks apart. The Marvel Rivals players were trapped in the Hazard downpour.
We have 2 ults on Rivals' side. This is where we get... Fable has that clutch potential. He should pop that railgun, I think. You should pop that railgun early and just pick off the backline of Orange Fan Club. It just feels like Orange Fan Club is just like not giving them any room to breathe. That Hazard just going in aggressive.
You're buying space, but for what? Fable didn't manage to get confirmed. Eventually everyone goes down. Goku decides to throw this in and fall off the map. Has the dash. He gets back. And thankfully, the rest of Marvel Rivals had that fight under control. They managed to clean it up on 99%. They're going to be able to even this up.
I do think this fight was a bit closer than Marvel Rivals wanted to be. I don't think the Genji the Genji ult was good in the end, but I don't think it had to be committed.
Yeah.
They now have nothing in the bank. The closest thing is the Kiriko ult and the Rampage, but Orange Fan Club showing really good reactions into that Rampage.
The flexibility of both these teams, when to push forward, the footsie game, as it were, between them is great. You can see now, Marvel Rivals decides to take a step forward. Orange just goes back a little bit. That's why these fights are so drawn out, and they still feel confident to fight with 4. It is being built, though. That's a good starting point to get into the fight. Rampage over the top. Everyone's purple. Everyone's bleeding, and the resolution is there. The coalescence is there. It's all up to Soup, who managed to get back out for that. And while everyone was having to take a breath from Orange Fan Club, the breath is found, and Marvel Rivals go down.
I think it was really, really important here to note what Blue did there. The front line from Marvel's Rivals committed, but the back line was a bit slow, and Blue just capitalized on that. Soup throwing an orb into the wrong spawn doors. It's still good here. Surely Orange has this in the bag. Big Blade coming in.
Early Suzu forced out. Does get the TP out. Confirmed as well with that sound barrier, but the sound barrier is not doing enough here. Sushi Roll timed it perfectly, but Orange just has too much that they can throw into this. That wall nearly just putting paid to the last vestiges of the Marvel Rivals side, but Orange is just, they're going aggressive and they're making it work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really that, like, Marvel Rivals, it feels like they commit, they've got the good ult usage, but the target focusing is just not there. Everybody is kind of shooting for themselves. I don't want to say it feels like quick play.
That's
Ego
big,
with the
though.
big first pick.
Ego manages to keep the pressure going forwards there as that fan club was looking to kite, and Marvel Rivals now the ones sent packing, then skirting around this Orange fan club now running around them. They just got that sound barrier going, they've got that sustain going, they've got the hazard. to both mitigate damage and be that front line between it. And Orange gonna confirm this with 100% to 0.
Yeah, that elimination on the Fable early is quite important there, because Fable is a consistent source of damage on Marvel Rivals, and him dying there very quickly could hazard ult from Prince Tom, but it just means that their damage numbers goes down really quickly, and they don't have that execute potential. Fable caught out here maybe if he can get to his team quick enough.
It's fine. It's fine. Absolutely. First picks and ultimates, the name of the game as always. It's a great hazard wall to shut everyone in on the point, and Coalescence means that Orange Fan Club can certainly push forwards. They're going into a narrow corridor that is very happy for Fable to try and push into it, but Q buttons continue. Lixodian just reads the fight so late into it with that Death Blossom and baits in the Marvel Rivals who are emboldened by that Kitsune rush.
I think Lixodian's Death Blossoms have just been really well timed. He's not getting those 5Ks and the cheeky spray from him. He's not getting those 5Ks or those team kills, but what he is doing is securing those 2, and that's all you need.
You got the hazard to do damage, create some consternation. You got big shotguns from the side, which always can create a target for hazard to jump in on. Blue also always looking for this. It's a nice knife. They've got themselves a rampage, but they kind of just pinned in this corner. Decides to drop the rampage anyway, but I don't know how much there is into this fight. It's still staying alive. Somehow Ego just has this indomitable spirit behind them. Has to back up now. Actually lands a really nice knife and secures Sushi Roll. So still gonna stick it around. Everyone's coming back in for both sides. This fight just drags on. Point ticks up in the favor of Orange Fan Club, and I don't know if that's all they're gonna get though. Marvel Rivals emerge victorious. What?
All Orange needs to do here, they gave it, but all Orange needed to do there was die on point and get that 99%, because then you only have one team fight. Goku's blade needs to be clutch here, because if Prince Tom can get a good downpour, or if somebody gets a pick early, Orange Fan Club will capitalize. They've shown us that.
Oh, and Ego is definitely a good one to try and pin. Everyone rushes in to help and countered out by the sound barrier. Not going to be a lot in the bag here for Orange Fan Club, but they've committed into it nonetheless. Marvel Rivals starting to get some kills. Risen, that's your big healer going down. That's a big pick coming out here for Orange Fan Club, and they take down Goku as well. Prince Tom, your resource are dwindling, your amount of charge is out, and the Reaper is going to have to make for the hills. Marvel Rivals, that had to be clutch, and they didn't drop anything except the sound barrier.
Marvel Rivals still sitting on that blade. Fable probably going to look for an early pulse here. And there it is. Big stick. Doesn't lands on the tank. Rivals having Orange having the advantage here.
And they decide to push in. They've got themselves a Nano boost. They've gone straight in. Big anti-heal comes out though. Ego still got theirs, doesn't get the chance to use it. It's just Orange Fan Club living through everything, even when the opportunities were made through it. There's no confirmation of kills, and they're going to be able to take it. Orange Fan Club wins the third point, and takes their first, or I believe second game here in the Talon Cup.
No, this is Orange's first game, if I'm correct.
I don't know if they played in first round. Okay, no, this is their first game.
I think we might be a bit confused because Lixodian did sub in on that very first round, so he's making multiple cameos. We could call it the Lixodian CU because of his cameos he's making, but that's a really dominant and really well play from Orange Fan Club. Really making my eat my words, and I would say that's Gordon Ramsay would be proud of that meal they're serving me.
But that's fine, right? So you're a player in this. It must be exhilarating to see. We saw a cracker of a first game. Our second game shows two indomitable teams that are willing to fight it out with everything that they got and make it work through the odds. I mean, that's two games. You've got to come up now. And what are you thinking? What are you feeling as a player?
I'm feeling that I need to put more respect on Orange Fan Club. Really shocked by how well they played, and it's going to... I feel like they're the team that is like the underdog, and nobody's expecting them to perform as well as they're performing, and they are performing well. I think Marvel Rivals has to go back a bit to the drawing board, learn from their mistakes, because let's be honest, they showed that they're here to play, but just when it matters, it feels like they didn't show up.
Yeah. They've got that flex down. They know how to work it, but sometimes you got to take a couple more steps or make that call a little bit quicker. Otherwise, it's going to be too late when someone like Arn just running at you. But absolutely fantastic second game. GG's to all of the players. And Cheetos, as our analyst, you have the wonderful time to, and as unbiasedly as possible, choose an MVP for us.
So we had great players on their team. Prince Tom showing dominance, Sushi having great beats and showing how potent she is on that main support role. Fable also showing us the surge and respect. Lixodian with the Reaper, but unfortunately, it has to go to Blue. I think his impact on that Genji was just insane.
Yep.
I think Blue is the standout player in my eyes for this series.
I think that's a very fair call. I mean, we did say that the big difference between these two teams was confirmation of kills. And I mean, Blue was pivotal in that. Always just like floating around the fight, looking for any damage that he could follow up on, and executed it pretty effectively, both in the neutral fights and with the ultimates. I mean, showed off a really nice Tracer and Ilios. So very, very happy, very proud, very excited to see what Blue has in store for their Overwatch future here in South Africa. But final thoughts, Cheetos.
I'm heading into the Vaxstar code, practicing my aim, going to practice killing Genjis. That is what I took away from this.
Practice killing Genjis, because they've always been a problem in Overwatch if they're in the right hands, and now we see the right hands here all collected together. Guys, we're going to take a short break. We're going to set up our next match just after. It's scheduled to start at 4, so about 15 minutes time. If you guys want to grab something to eat and rejoin us, we'll be back. Cheetos, good luck for your next match, my friend.
Thank you.
We'll see you then just after this, guys. Thank you for joining us here on the Talon Cup. And welcome back, Talon Cup day number 1. We do all the group stages games today, and then tomorrow we get to see some of the playoff. I'm joined now, you may have noticed, we're back on camera, which is amazing. Sun Phoenix, you know your way around these woods, my friend.
Some would call me somewhat experienced in the South African Overwatch scene. I think that's a pretty fair assessment of where I stand on this scene. Been as you say, around this forest for a little bit, but every time a new year rolls around, it's an opportunity for new stories. It kind of resets us all back to zero in some ways, and it's always fun with things like the Talon Cup to get an eye on what's happening. Of course, Altruism, you weren't able to be there, which is deeply saddening, but we had our LAN at the end of last year, and that kind of through a whole bunch of new names, new faces in a very literal sense, which is exciting. But we saw Salmon and the rest of his Vanguard crew really burst onto the scene when it mattered most and finish second to an impenetrable Inglourious Blaster squad. And we're seeing a lot of those same players show up here now for the Talon Cup at the beginning of 2025. So I'm looking forward to see what sort of names these players can continue to make for themselves.
Yeah, that's one of the best things that we've been saying the whole day about this tournament. If you guys are just joining in now, absolute fantastic to have you. You've missed a lot of good Overwatch. But otherwise, it's just been that very wholesome feeling around this. It seems being able to have new players with old, more experienced players. Let's go with experience, not old. And learning from them, mentoring these teams, kind of splitting it up. And it means that for casters, for viewers, us, we don't know what's coming when it comes to these matches. So it really is nice to see. I think the LAN was a fantastic high point to end off 2024 on, especially from the competitive aspect. But now we kind of get to start 2025, like you say, and it's starting on such a good foot here, getting to see, like you say, those names coming through. And let's take a look at some of those names, because our match number 3, Team 1 versus Tokstarters. Tokstarters, obviously, we saw earlier at so we'll chat about them then. Team 1 is the unknown right now, although the names on it rather familiar, son.
Yeah, a lot of names we would have seen very recently. In fact, as I mentioned, at the end of 2024, we've got Blaine and Raven on your DPS. We've got Coconuts and Mushi at the back. Mushi we've already seen today, subbing in for another team in our first match. But I think the main man in the middle right there, that's the guy we've got to keep our eyes on. I think he's from Belgium, if I remember correctly. He's from Norway. And he actually flew down to Cape Town to the ATK Arena to join his team in that land. So in spite of the fact that he is based out of Europe, he actually made the effort to come down and play with his team, and we saw the effect it had on Vanguard's performance. They finished second, as I mentioned already. So I think this Salmon is absolutely one, and he was really the linchpin of that whole operation. He was really who pushed them through when times were tough. I'm not talking in terms of mental and emotional, but definitely in terms of competitive and gameplay in the matches. He was definitely a driving force for that Vanguard team, and I expect it to be exactly the same here with Team 1.
I could see that. Very aggressive, very, very good tempo setter. So a stalwart to come in there, and Coconuts in the back is also one of the support names that I've been hearing in the recent past, constantly coming up, and it's really nice to get to see that strong support behind Salmon. So on the other side, just to refresh your memories, or if you guys weren't here earlier, Tokstarters going to be made of the highly proficient duo that signed up together, Kama and Token. Kama not afraid to take some long-range damage if they need to. Otherwise, get it up close, nice and personal with that Sombra, Lord of Terran, the stalwart of our community. Sun Phoenix, I think you've heard of him. As well, on the Junker Queen was especially good. And Tox, Lele, you know these names.
Yeah, Toxin and Lord of Terrans, I think, obviously, Altruism are the two names that jump out at you as like, oh, okay. These guys still alive, still around? These geriatrics in a South African Overwatch context. But yes, they are. Lord of Terrans, of course, most recently, I believe, captain and main tank of the Rage Quit Anomaly squad, who were at the LAN most recently. And Tox has been around forever. Currently based in the UK, I want to say, but one of the best flex supports. I'm happy to see that him back on his main role, if we could even call it that, because I feel like we've been seeing him on the DPS in these last couple of pug-style tournaments. So happy to see what he can do back in the support role. And then Kama as well, another familiar name. Token and Leilu. Leilu we've seen before, but Token I think is a player we're not as familiar with.
No, it's fantastic from that aspect. And I mean, this is a team that's already proven themselves to be a very strong team. They went down to Aura in our first game of the day, but even that was a very, very close affair. You know, everyone was fighting tooth and nail. It came down to, I was with Naira at that stage. We said that it was less than a second. Like in a space of 1 second, it was like a movie slowing down where stuff was happening that was super influential. So Starters would love to use this as the opportunity now to get their first points towards the seeding at the end of the day. Team 1, though, how are you feeling? I mean, that's a strong lineup to have to deal with.
Yeah, it's hard to say when you're in these pug-style tournaments. These are obviously not teams who will be familiar with with each other synergistically. They will not have spent a ton of time grinding out scrims and practicing together. You're kind of just hoping that you all come in with a positive mindset. You can communicate nicely while on the spot and execute as a unit as best as possible without all the grinding that comes from a more competitive space. So you never know what's going to happen. You look at some squads in years past and you go, wow, that is the scary squad. And for some reason, and it's true everywhere, if you're a fan of any esport or flesh sport, super teams that come together don't always work out for the best in terms of results. So yeah. I'm interested to see who comes on the top. And it feels to me, Ultralism, like it's often the teams who are balanced in the middle somewhere that do well. You're like diamond, high plat, average teams. They don't have a GM superstar trying to carry a silver player. They're all in the middle. They're all on the same page and they execute together perfectly. So I think Team 1 is a very good-looking team. I think, like I said, Salmon especially jumps out at me as a player who can operate independently and operate he's a very aggressive player who can drive this team to success. But players like that can often be left in the lurch when they don't have good, or maybe good's the wrong word, but at least supports who are on the same page as them. So we'll have to wait and see whether Team 1 can keep up with Salmon, or if not, if he can adapt his style to what they are capable of. But I think on paper, there's no reason this team shouldn't do well.
Yeah, I think Starter is going to be the one setting kind of that like, where do we fight? Lord of Terrans has been very pivotal in that sort of like core movement of the fight as teams flex around it and being able to pull back as a team. They're going to set a standard, right? We know that Starters is going to come in as a team to watch, a team that's really good, has shown that they're good, and it'll be a very interesting benchmark for where Team 1 comes. If not far, I'm not expecting it to be high above Starters. I'm also not expecting it to be low below them. I'm expecting it to be that very, just where in the final breaking points does it match up in the really intense skill matchup that we got.
I think, again, the question comes to me with the tank lines, right? Or tank points. There's no lines anymore. It's just a single point now, which is deeply saddening. But anyway, that's, 2-3 years old at this point. I should get over it. But I think Terran Lord versus Salmon is going to be a very interesting and very important battle to see unfold throughout this match. And then I think in response to that, Tox and Coconuts as the kind of main eye-raising supports on these two squads, how they support their main tank, their only tank, in their endeavors might also be a critical part of the success of either of these teams. Now, it is worth noting, I don't know that we've actually explicitly stated it, Team 1 did win their first match, so they're on a good run of form, and of course we saw Tox Starters lose their first match. So at least in terms of recent performances, there we go, Team 1 at the top of the table in Group A, Tox Starters at the bottom after one match. So at least coming into this, Team 1 will have a bit of momentum behind them.
Yeah, as far as I know, that game that they won was also against Stalker's team that we saw earlier. And that's a big part of it. That's Aura, of course, who Aura beats Tox Starters. So like this, Team 1 is already mentally way above now. We go into our maps, right? Overwatch happens over 5 different scenarios. You've got your first to 3. We always start with Control, so Ilios being picked up here, and we mentioned it in the first game as well. Just one of the more open, more predictable, but with those very key features like the world to play around.
Yeah, with all control maps, you've got different styles on the different kinds of maps. I think Lijiang Tower probably stands out to me as the one with the most dynamism in terms of, your control center will run a more brawly comp. You can run a more comp that tries to dominate aerially on some of the other maps versus a more divey comp, that kind of thing. This map less so. We're going to be starting out on Lighthouse, he says. Hopefully, excellent. I know my maps just by looking at this random patch of land that Peach has dumped us on. But it is going to be Lighthouse. You've got an opportunity for aerial domination, your Pharos, your Echoes, that sort of thing. But you've got decent long-range sightlines. And once again, Ultras, we're going to be seeing Blaine on that Sojourn. That has been a pivotal hero recently in Overwatch, I think. Very, very highly favored. And then on the other side, Kama, picking up a similar role. He's going to be on the Ana. Broadly speaking, though, different looks for each team. Salmon, the Junker Queen, is his hero, the hero he dominates on. He loves that style of play, the brawly, in-your-face style with the Ramatra, with the Junker Queen, and his team is going to be looking to back him up with that Juno to give the speed and decent healing from the Mercy. On the other side, they're going to go for a pretty standard Genji Winston dive with Tox and Socks protecting each other on the back line.
I think Toxadas definitely has the easier to execute lineup right now. They've got the ability to just hold a solid backline, poke and prod, and kind of fight forwards as they need to. Bit of aggression being shown by both teams right now. Team 1 are being put under, or putting a lot of pressure under the backline there. They take out Salmon, they take out Blaine. They just with the more proactive side. Not without their own casualties, of course, but staying alive on 20 HP is more than enough to push towards the point.
Yeah, man. Tox. There's too many Socks on this team, by the way. Well, I mean, I suppose there's 2 Socks, and that's about as many as you need in any situation. But anyways, Tox he's a monster on the support, and I think it's really nice to see him back on that role. He hasn't played competitively that much in recent times, so it's good to see him flex his muscles on the support role once again. Salmon, though, getting aggressive, looking to take down the Winston, but Terran Lord knows his limits, seeking help, but Raven in his own backline picks up that kill.
Well, Raven just single-handedly confirming the rest of that, even decides to go a little bit more aggressive, knows eventually what their limits are, but great play coming out from Raven to secure that at the beginning, and just kind of forces Team 1 back a little bit. Again, they want to take these very close-range brawls. They want Salmon to be able to swing that axe. Got the speed to be able to try and enable it, but Toxadas just seems to be keeping the distance. They're playing a footsie battle. That means that Team 1 doesn't really get the chance to fight. You go for the Winston's going to jump away. You go for the Genji going to dash away. An amazing play coming out from Toga to actually survive that for so long, and that's given a lot of space now for the rest of Team 1 to come in. They can start bullying their way across this points, even with the raise coming out late from Mushi. It's all going to be Team 1 putting on some real pain.
Smacked him right at the end there, Blaine, bullied by the flail. That Terran Lord has to walk a very fine line here on the Winston playing into the Junker Queen, right? She's kind of got a big zone around her that as a Winston, you don't really want to be operating in for too long. So he's kind of got to be tiptoeing around the edge of the battlefield and looking to strike like a scalpel into the enemy backline. And they've done that so effectively so far. We'll have to wait and see if they can keep it up with the ultimates coming out from Team 1. They've got the Rampage, they've got the Blade.
Now the big thing is they're all going to be Team 1 dumping everything first, looking for a big play on the back line. They've got to get something out of this nano boost because Toxadas has run past them. Now Toxadas are the ones that try to put this in. A rally in the back line, going to keep the rest of Toxadas up nice and healthy, or at least try to. Raven's still going for this kill on Parasox. The anti-heals enough to keep you alive. It's all Salmon though. Raven was just distracting the supports, gave the space on place. They're able to get everything that they need, and your 2 supports, they survived until the end, but those 2 running onto the point are not going to bring it back.
You see the power there of being a nuisance in the backline, the altruism. Just, as a dive character, you don't necessarily need to execute the enemy backline with impunity. You can actually spend a lot of time forcing attention away. He forced Parasox to run away, did Raven. He forced him to look away from his own team. And in that time, Salmon was able to secure 2 kills on the front line. So great work from Raven. Even if he couldn't get those kills immediately, he made plenty of space for his tank to find kills on the front line.
Oh, big play comes out from Kama. Combines the dynamite with that final shot. It's given all the space now. Team 1 have been denied their leadership in terms of the percentage. They're certainly going to be able to get it back with the Vengeance right now. Just trying to clean up this kill. Aaron got the ultimate, but deciding that he really wants to make this Tokstar side have a way back into the fights, and actually managed just to buy it all the way up to 95%.
Really nice play from Terranor there, obviously using the ultimate. He knew he had it available, so he went as deep as he could, popped it, and used the double jump as the ult end of it to get out. Kama under pressure here, needs to back onto point though. He's got the support on his backline, as once again we see Terran looking to find kills in the enemy backline. He's been really good at walking the fine line between feeding and making space.
I heard Salmon's ult go off, but I didn't see it, and there doesn't seem to be any worry coming out here from Tokstarters, as they managed to pretty much actually fall. So that ult had to have some sort of long-term repercussions.
I don't know that it did. I think he got killed either while casting it or he hit nothing, because like you said, there was nobody purple when we looked back at the Tokstarters. Okay, yeah, he was killed as he used it. But the rest came through, and that kind of kept them in the fight there. But really good work from Team 1. They've been very, very impressive so far, but it's been very, very back and forth. And like I said, you know, credit to Terranor. This can be a really difficult thing to execute. And in terms of ease of execution, Tokstarters definitely have a much harder comp to make work with that dive into the Junker Queen. But they did very effectively, but at the end of the day, just too much power coming out from Team 1, and they found the kills they needed to in that final team fight. A little bit of switch up here now, though. Salmon, he is going to go onto that Ramatra. He was more comfortable on that hero on this map. Not really much in terms of changes for Tokstarters, but they do now bring in that Pharah to try and exert some aerial dominance.
I like this. It's going to be hard to contest here. Your Raven's not going to be able to do it. Blaine is going to have a hard task doing it on their own, and right now the freedom has been given to also help track down this Genji. Just put them under constant pressure, so close. One more rocket would have done it. All the space being created, all the distractions from both of these squads. Is Team 1 looking to confirm some kills. They're going to have to worry about their Winston, who's now jumped away from the support. Token also under a lot of pressure, falling a little bit too close to the ground and getting punched for their trouble. Kama nearly getting confirmed. Poor Parasox, the last one left alive on that corner. Now it's all pretty firmly in the hands of Team of Tokstarters.
Team 1. The colors are wrong at the top. Team 1 is in blue. Oh, sorry, those are the team colors. That's very confusing, but it doesn't matter. We know who's who here in the zoo. Salmon already at 60% towards his ultimate, kind of not really being put under pressure. A lot of pressure being putting on that top right high ground from Tokstar's perspective, but they weren't able to secure the kills they needed to make it worthwhile. Raven now in the backline, looking to find kills, opportunities, but he's dropping low. All back out just in time.
Raven's been doing such a great job of just being a nuisance, like you said earlier, just creating this danger angle and then getting out, and then following up on a kill. Really nice combination there to take out Parasox. Of course, the res has come out, but that was all the go core that was needed here. Tokstarters, Team 1 managed to walk their way over their opponents.
Yeah, the problem with the Pharah is that it pulls Tox off a more useful character, right? He's a very, very good Mercy. It's probably one of his main, if not his main hero. But he can do so much more on heroes with more utility. And so pulling him out is kind of weakening the power of the backline if Token isn't able to clean things up from the sky. And so far, that hasn't proven to be the case. But Lord of Turns gets the bounce kill onto Blaine.
Still, Salmon's going to be running forwards, got the rest of this Nemesis form to try and create something. The heals are coming out to top back up the last members of Team 1. They managed to stabilize and really put pressure from so many different places. And again, following up on what each other is doing is so nice. It's that only little knock into the world didn't hurt either, but a nice way for them to get at least some percentage building up.
I suspect that was a double boop, right? I think the Pharah hit Blaine, and Terran just had to get that little pop on his bounce as well to secure the kill. But worked out for them in that case. They've got a few good ultimates to work with now, but it's ultimates in both directions. Big ults like the Blade. The High Nu not likely to do much, but could be something to be afraid of. But Juno ultimate, a teamfight winner in its own right. But here comes the Pharah ulti, but killed.
Immediately reflected. Raven again has just been such a good player. Goodness, I hope this is again someone that we get to see a lot more in our communities doing work to stop Team 1, who's done a great job of dragging this out, but I'm not confident that they really have a big advantage in this fight, or much of a hope even. Still staying alive. Lord of Terror with Parasox. Parasox going onto the Moira, going to be able to keep a little bit more longevity, but I mean, even with the Mercy Beam, there was just too much damage coming in after the Fade was used, and now the jump is not to safety. Salmon actually falling low. Needs to be a little bit more careful. Nemesis form. Taken down. Or token down, I guess.
Token down. Very nice altruism. Yeah, they're doing a good job here of kind of drawing this team fight out and using that to win. Nice try from Blaine High Noon to reload the gap, but it's not good enough on this occasion. Raven though in the back line. Lots of kills going in each direction, but Tox with the res on to Token, who has now switched onto that Tracer. Oh, there's a lot of damage in the back line to get to Juno. Will they find more? Yes, they will. Genji not likely to get out of this alive, but with the Mercy back up, he'll be okay.
As long as you got that Mercy alive, it's big, and there's now some reinforcements coming through there. There's the Mercy that I was talking about. Manages to claim her. Toxin Sox goes down. This is a big opportunity. Coalescence dropped in over the top here for Starters to make up for that missing heals. Even going to be able to pull out some damage themselves. Gets greedy for the Genji and pays with their life. 99%. And last touch is all that matters. Okay.
Fox used the man on the point here. He's got the gun out, but he doesn't have the backup he needs to get the team wipe that we know he can do.
No?
No, it's not. You got to get the 97, I think, is the cutoff.
I thought he was there at 97. Oh.
Yeah, he must have just been at 96.999. But unfortunately for Tox and the rest of the Tox starters, not good enough on this occasion. Terror Lord will pick up player of the game, but it's a little consolation for the game one loss.
Oh, a tough fight comes out there. But execution. It really comes down to who can get rid of those key targets at the beginning of a fight. You know, we're getting long, drawn-out poke fights where they're kind of like leaping from side to side around the map to be able to find someone who's on their own. But, you know, these Mercies are flying around, topping everyone up. Everyone's teleporting or jumping or sliding, or everyone's staying alive for a long time. It's those really first key pickoffs, and the execution from Tox starters has seemed either a little slow, or maybe just it's that the team one has got such quick execution when it comes down to these. They really do seem to be able to get that pivotal first pick first. I think
execution is a key word there, altruism, but it's more for me to do with ease of execution. And Tox Starters is a very difficult comp to execute with what are essentially random people, right? You're relying on an enemy team to either make mistakes, or you're relying on your own squad to be highly synergistic, and they've struggled so far to execute effectively in terms of getting in that back line and actually securing kills. Because yes, as we said before, altruism, we saw Raven do very well on the Genji, getting in the backline and causing a lot of strife for the likes of Parasox, but his team then used that time to secure kills in the front line. It hasn't been the same for Tox starters, and I wonder if there's a little bit of a mismatch here between the DPS of the two teams. That's something we're going to have to keep an eye on for the rest of this match and throughout the rest of Talon Cup, is how do the different pairs of DPS match up. And so far, Raven and Blaine have been excellent in making space for Salmon and not allowing Terranor to get a ton of picks on that Winston in the backline. But all that said, altruism, yes, it was a 2-0, but it was 99% both ways each time. So there's very little fine margins in this match at the moment, and that bodes well for the rest of the series.
Yeah, everyone has their little redeeming qualities. Everyone is doing their part of the job, not necessarily at the same time, but they are still putting on a lot of pressure, making some good opportunities. And I mean, we did get to see the Tox starters earlier today, and that was actually something that I did say was going to be very important. You got a very experienced tank, you got two very experienced supports. This duo has come in as DPS duo, so there's a lot riding on their shoulders that they have to do, and they have done well. They've lived up to the task for now. They are facing game one, they lost. Game two, they're losing. And so really we go to the most DPS intensive map, that being Circuit Royale. And tanks equally as important, I'd say, here as well. Of course, you've got those long sight lines. You expect your Sojourns, your Ashes, even your Widowmakers to really excel on this map, but we'll have to wait and see what they can do. And it's a map that you wouldn't think
play into somebody like Salmon's strengths, right? We know him to be a very aggressive, brawly player. Ramatra, Junker Queen are his two big heroes, but we know that Terran Lord, by contrast, is a very, very flexible player, right? It wouldn't surprise me to see him bring out the Sigma here, for example, which is the most common tank on this map, obviously, and be able to execute that well. And I wonder if that might not play better into the hands of his DPS if they have a little bit more obvious support from their tank, because the Winston is often off doing his own thing, and he's doing an excellent job, and we've seen that through his eyes throughout that Ilios map, Terran Lord, but his DPS at the moment at least are not able to take advantage of that quite so well. But they're going to run, it seems like Terran Lord has decided, or Lord of Terrans has decided, he's just going to play Winston, and that's what he's going to do, and it's going to be Salmon instead flexing onto that Sigma. They're leading into the long sight lines on Team 1. I think their composition definitely is playing to the map. On the other side, long sight lines are going to be used very well as well with the Sojourn and the Widowmaker. Terran Lord, I guess he could quite easily switch up here as he is on the attack. Yeah,
Terran Lord, my proviso is Terran Lord is a far better player than I am. That being said, I have never seen a Winston on this map, really, in my hours. Maybe very few. Instead, we go to our double shields. We've got one on the side of Toxtatus, one on the side of Team 1. Each of them trying to deny some sight lines from the obvious Widowmaker picks, and Raven going to be there to try to follow up if needs be. Otherwise, Token giving them a couple more shots down the sight lines. Neither of them, with their first shot, managed to make a connection, though.
Yeah, kind of just, no, Terran Lord just getting rid of that pylon. Good work from him, a very annoying thing to have. Blaine over the top. You saw it happening in slow motion there through the eyes of the killed, and Blaine, he's popping off now. He just needed a few range finding shots out, and now that he's got his range, he's finding the shots he needs to.
Kind of always love being there when I'm not actually playing on the receiving end of something like that. Yeah. That's just like oh no, and then Blaine executes it perfectly, follows it up. I mean, these key picks is what this first point is all about, and 2-0 to Blaine, I guess.
Yeah, so far, well, 1-0, right? If you're going Widow on Widow, they are dueling warning shots, I guess we'll call them. But Kama needs to be careful here because Salmon is getting aggressive, putting pressure on, but so is Terran Lord on the other side.
Terran Lord doesn't have a lot of HP. Eventually, the turnaround focus is too much for him to handle, and it's given the gravitic flux down to the other side. They've been chased into their own sport, punished for everything that they're worth. It's an interesting use of the ult at the end of the fight, but it does secure them kills and stagger, I guess.
I think the fight wasn't... He used it just after Terran dropped. Okay. So he kind of wanted to just secure that fight. Because at that point, it wasn't obvious that they were going to win that. I think they were fairly comfortable. Anytime you kill the tank without using too many resources, you feel pretty good. But he just wanted to secure that. Terran Lord, on the other hand, only 64% towards his own ultimate here. So Salmon has been getting the much better of this Sigma trade. And that's so important on Circuit Royale.
Shield popping in and out of existence for certain times, and patience being thrown. Tree of Life got to keep the Toxtatus up really nice for a long time, and with that change, they can actually push out of its radius as well for just a little bit. But Lord of Terran's really pushing the envelope right now. He'd love to get this ultimate, but creating a pretty vulnerable target, or an enticing target if nothing else. Gravitic Flux comes out, only on one Valkyrie to answer, though. Going to keep the rest of Toxtatus alive as Team 1. They've got a couple of picks, but they're not finding purchase in this fight like they would really want. It's all going to again come down to who can get this snipe battle on their side. Oh, big pick from Lord of Terrans.
Nice job. Terran got behind Salmon there, used the accretion to put him down, and a few key shots coming through from Kammer as well, making that pesky fish a lot easier to deal with. Now they'll push forward. Team 1 on the back foot here. Toxtatus finally getting some purchase and able to take this first point. It's not taken quite yet, though. Will they come in for the contest? No, not quite on this occasion. Salmon too far back to mount any sort of resistance.
That's the thing about those poke lineups, especially if you spend all your time flexing. You're going to run out of space, and you're only going to get the one fight. Now comes the Widow Duel, both of them with sights enabled. They know where they are. Blaine decides to just turn his attention away, get the cover behind it. I can do more with this. And seems to be the general idea. Still, jump shot comes out. Blaine tries to go up, sends a crack off, but had no real long time to line that up.
Yeah, I think the right decision there from Blaine. Not to try and take that duel, really unnecessary ego play if you go for it. But needs to be careful now, has to back up. Such an HP, he needs a little bit of assistance. Lord of Terrans all in on that Widow, but not able to get it with a great ultimate. And he's going to use his own now.
The accretion to cancel the gravitic flux of the opponent's Sigma. That really makes Lord Terrans feel good, and now he and the team can walk forward. It's so iconic. The Widow that has decided so much of this. There was such a key target at the beginning of the fight. The last one to fall. Okay, nope, there's a Mercy afterwards.
Yeah, also he before he died, he just got that quick pick onto Kama there, just to assert his dominance just a little bit more, make sure, yes, my team is losing the fight, my team is losing this round so far, but I'm still in firm control of that duel. And it gets in your head as a Widow player. I wouldn't know, obviously, altruism. As you know, I am not a Widow player. But it's very, very important to have your Widows in the zone here. And so far, Blaine has looked the better of the two, not just in terms of hitting his shots, but in terms of his decision-making as well.
Oh, looking for a cheeky little angle. Tries for it. Now just a second one. Sigma shield there for a second to give him confidence, but neither Widow actually finding it right now. Kama gets the shot, even though they're under pressure. Gets pulled out as well. And Talk Starters, they don't want to give too much free progress on this payload, and I want to just die it out here, but do not want to throw anything unnecessary into this unless there's an opportunity for it. Lord of Terrans decides to get aggressive now, not on a lot of HP. Has got a decent suck there to be able to get the HP back up and does escape with the team, but the Ram can put on consistent pressure. Raven's out with the blade into the back line, and it's Team 1 that are completely in the driver's seat there.
I like the switch from Salmon onto Ramatra here. He's a hero that really thrives at this point of the map where the brawling is a lot easier to force, and he's doing that very effectively. Already building up another ultimate, picking up 3 or 4 kills in that last team fight. Blaine, though, once again, finding the head of his opposite number. 1 kill, I think it's like 1-4 or something to Blaine. So he's really, really dominating the Wooden battle.
Now this is what the Ramatra allows you to do. It can stop the poke with the shield, but has the counter to be able to just run forward when you need to. They've popped a tree of life from their opponents without forcing any real engage. Now there's going to be some pressure here, and Team 1 are being put under the kibosh as Talk Starters rushes into this. There was an attempt for the res, actually goes off because Mushi gets behind the cover. And the ultimate being popped here from the big Salmon. Decides to run forward and getting some value out of it. Can they stay alive? No, the Mercy Heals just aren't enough.
Really, really nice play from Talk Starters there. The Discord Orb coming in clutch there to secure that kill. And now he says, who's the sniper now, Blaine? As he executes him with the volley headshots as clean as you'll ever see from a Zenyatta. And that's going to allow Team 1, or Talk Starters rather, to start making some ground here on the final point.
Oh, more work. Kama just gets juked out by the jump a little bit on that. Was a clean shot. Now over the top, the big sunrise gets a tick on 1, gets an explosion on the Sigma. Third one gonna go down. That's everything that Talk Starters wanted in this. No, Team 1. I'm really getting thrown by these colors. I apologize, guys.
It's so confusing. It's so confusing having the red team be playing in blue rather. But Salmon, once again, they keep pushing on to this point. This is where they want to hold this chokehold, and it makes a lot of sense. You can set up behind the Ramatra, and the Sigma has to come forward, put himself in a dangerous spot, and really pull a lot of resources. Kama, though, finally, his second kill onto the enemy sniper, and that's going to start them off really nicely in this fight, Talk Starters.
Ramatra wants to be in, but unfortunately, he doesn't have a lot of ways out, so if you can just keep him in there with that gravitic flux, it's great. The res. Mushi is an absolute madman. He gets Salmon back into the fight. There's still Team 1 yet to beat. They forced out Transcendence as one. The punches coming through. Eventually takes out Kama. Does have a Mercy. Still too much damage. There's only so much Amuni can do, and Mushi can do. Big fight coming out here. Team 1 going to be able to stick around this payload for as long as it takes, and they're going to have some reinforcements soon.
Parasox has been excellent on the Zen, but Blaine, hello. Talk's trying to run up on the enemy sniper, take matters into his own hands, but Blaine spots him out, takes him down, sends him back to spawn the quick way now. A lot of ults being thrown into the Salmon. Going to use his ultimate now, the Ramatra. He's going to find anything. Finally, he spots out Kama. He gets that kill. Again, but overtime ticking down. And that's going to be it. Team 1 stopped, or Tox rather, stopped just before the final point.
Tox was stopped. That was the big play. Going around the side there. Your tank needed their support, their main healer to keep them up. You had the grip to get them out and reinforce. That was such a pivotal moment, and it seemed like Team 1 was really going to be pushed harder in the final fights, but they get themselves back in. Blamed again on the sniper is just something to be reckoned with, and that proves to be a very difficult point, because now it's someone's got to win. That's basically pushing it the whole way, but with that added 1 point.
Yeah, it does mean you need to defend here, Tox. You can't just burn time. You've got to get a complete defense here if you're Tox starters, but it's a hard map to finish, Circuit Royale. That final point can be really, really difficult to push through. So I think Tox starters will be very, very happy to get all the way to that third point and give themselves a lot of space and time to defend. We do see them switch now, or Terran going to be reprising his role here on the Sigma. Very few changes across the board. Like I said, eyes on Parasox here. He was excelling on the Zenyatta, doing a lot of damage in lieu of his DPS and helping his team get as far as they did. On the other side, Blaine, I mean, we've pointed it out so much, but he's really been a superstar here. And what it does is it just gives Salmon more and more space to operate with.
Coconuts, having the confidence to now go out on the Juno is a nice way to enable your Ramatra to get forwards, but got to worry hours about that counter. Widowmaker on the other side needs your person with it first, or just send Raven in. Raven's doing enough to distract everyone for the longest number of seconds. Looking for the shot. Cheeky Blaine, absolutely cheeky, but I mean, right now it's the Raven show in terms of the DPS lineups that's coming off, but eventually Blaine gets the shots.
Yeah, but if I'm Kama here, I'm saying, bro, I've got a Genji up my butt the whole friggin' game here. It's not really a duel so much as me desperately trying to survive. But Raven is really, he heard us waxing lyrical about Blaine, and he's now throwing his hat in the ring as a player to be reckoned with. We spoke about it on Ilios Altruism. It's not about getting kills. It's not about dominating. It's not about executions. It's about making space for the rest of his team to do damage without giving his life away.
Yeah.
And speaking of giving his life away, Kama really struggling in this matchup at the moment.
Yeah, no, Raven has been too much of a threat to ignore, and so much that you don't want to deal with it because they're still getting out, but it's also creating space and sightlines. It's just doing so much work. Well done, Raven. She's been a standout player, and now Summon, with all the confidence to go aggressive, has got the ultimate if they need. May as well burn through the Nemesis form, poke out what they can. Nice anti-heal. Kama gets a little bit of revenge, but Salmon now gonna decides to go and got everyone low, but it was just too much.
And they spent the res on the Widowmaker as well. So Salmon, that was kind of what got him killed there. He's had enough of getting dominated by Blade, and he'll find an opportunity to pop a headshot in and get that kill. But that was kind of what ended it for them. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication, or Salmon getting a little bit too big for his britches there. But Mushi had to back to look for the res into Blaine. And that kind of left Salmon isolated during his ultimate. And with the Discord orb once again, he got taken down very quickly. Coming to this next team fight, not many ultimates to speak of, but a lot nearly ready to go. A good res will get Raven back into the fray here. That's another resource that Team 1 don't have in this push.
Prophetic Flux looming here from Lord of Terrans, wants to get as many out of position. Blaine gets their own back and decides to go for a jump. Prophetic Flux thrown out, but not a lot of follow-up damage after that. They've had to, in fact, pop their own Transcendence, with Orbital Ray still very much in the mix. Team 1, confidence to keep going right now. They've got the Sigma of their own. Salmon just deciding that the Ramatra wasn't working. But Raven's Blade, though, Raven he proved so pivotal so often. It's just taken out of the fight, shut down immediately. The second shot, Toxin Socks actually going to be able to get that. Got 2 of those headshots in a row. And while Team 1 looked like they had all the confidence to move forward, they end up crumbling.
I think Toxin Socks is doing a ton of damage on the Kiriko, and he's securing a lot of kills that might have gone awry had he been on the Mercy, if that makes sense. Right? I think that's part of the difference here, is that he's able to use those kunais to secure kills that they were missing before, and it's making a huge difference in these team fights. Salmon has switched on to the Sigma now. Gravitic Flux pretty much ready to go. He builds out so fast, Salmon. That's been a feature of his play throughout the series so far.
He's got that aggressive temperament and enabled by the teammates, so there's a bit of a fight on the side there. That's a great grip. It's got 4.
Wow.
He's got two of them down immediately. There's a bit of a dashing back and forth. Coconut's actually going to be credited with the double kill there. And that, I don't care how good you are, Taryn. You're not walking out of that.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a team fight ender right there. 4 people in the Gravitic Flux, 2 kills instantly. The follow-up was there from the Juno of all people, and that is it. Team fight over, and a perfect place to win it out. I don't know that Toxtados is going to be able to contest here. Terran Lord, he is waddling, floating his way on in. Will he get the touch? Yes, he will. Team fight on.
Team fight carries on going. They've got that 2 meters behind it, and time is very important. The completion even more so. So how many ults are we dropping into this? So far, it has been Team 1. Has been putting on the vast majority of the kills, but Lord of Terran's doing a valiant job to at least stall it for as long as possible. 3 minutes 25 for the most difficult point.
Plenty of time from Team 1's perspective. You'd be happy to get here with this much time. This is like 2, 3, 4 fights even, if they're really, really fast. So they'll be looking good. Kama, still on the Widow Blade. He's got the sights ready to go here. But Terranord, he's going to have to see if he can find as much value with the Gravitic Flux as Salmon has been able to do so far.
Bit of poke contesting for this underground high ground. Obviously a key point in terms of the Widowmaker duel to control the window or the main area, but it decides to go up high again. Kama versus Blade. I've loved the fact that they've respected this duel the whole way through. Gravitic Flux to start us off there is going to be one. They're going to be throwing. In fact, I think they each threw each other, and then there was no kills that came up afterwards. Mushi, you absolute queen of the skies! Managing to fly through there. Oh, with the Valkyrie, it keeps everyone alive. That is... I want to give player of the game to Mushi for that.
I should, Valk. Come on. You have 3 movements. She's like an Iron Man at that point. She can fly as much as she wants. But nice to see some play from the Mercy Salmon. Putting the pressure on the front line. Transcendence Force. Come on, once again, under pressure. Raven making short work of the enemy. Farah, but Tox, he's not going to go down as easily. In fact, he finds a kill onto Raven. A big team fight unfolding here. Tox, or rather Terran, back on the monkey. Trying to find some picks, but Salmon living large on the front line. The Rez comes through as well, Alf.
Rez coming through. There's just consternation. Team 1 is not being stopped. They are here. It is contested for as long as you want to drag it out, but Blade's ultimate was used well. It got so much value. They had enough in the backpack. Once they got onto that payload, there seemed to be just a point to prove. They were like, you dared to stop us at second point? No, we're finishing this off right here and now. They pick up their second points.
I think we're starting to get a picture of why this team has the results that they do so far, Altruism. It's the fact that they've got Salmon, who is an absolute monster, who will win any tank battle you put him in. And then they're synergizing so well with the DPS as well. Raven making so much space for Blaine. Blaine had a very quiet game on Ilios, I think it has to be said, on the Cassidy, at least in terms of, finding a lot of kills in team fights, that sort of thing. But in this game, we saw the power that he brings to a squad like this, making space on his own. How many times did we see Tox, Terran going out of their way to try and put pressure onto that Widowmaker and Blaine either, executing people point blank with headshots or otherwise living for long enough. There was a moment on that second point on Toxstada's push where Terralord ignored everybody and just beelined after that Widowmaker, desperately trying to secure that kill on a sliver of HP. Blur just out of range of the Sigma balls, and Terran's team ended up dropping behind him, and that's what a good Widowmaker does to Altruism, and that's what a good team does when they have a good Widowmaker. And I think for me, in spite of the kill feed being dominated by Salmon and Blaine, for me Raven was a standout there on that Genji. Playing a style of Genji we don't often get to put emphasis on, I think, Altruism, and it was awesome to see him. It's the most obvious example of a Genji making space I've seen. You get in there, you put on pressure, you don't die, and Blaine is able to find the shots into Kama in that time. And it was a really, really impressive team performance from a very, very impressive Team 1 squad.
Yeah. You have Salmon on the point to always put pressure so that they have to answer you somewhere. You have Raven, like you say, she was fantastic in the back line. Like you say, it's not a style that people tend towards because it doesn't look flashy on the kill cams. It doesn't have big stats in terms of the scoreboard. People would just flame you. But you've taken 4 people's attention for like 10 seconds. It's no wonder Salmon's winning the duel in terms of the tanks because they've got one person there to deal with, and they've got all the supporters, the healers around them, the sports. And then your Widow duel is also harder. You mentioned it in the middle of the action there. It's like, I'd love to take this duel. I'd love to take the shot. I think I can deal with it, but there's a Genji right next to me, kind of thing. Raven has been fantastic. She's a standout player, and looking forward to seeing what more they're going to do as we head now to Hollywood.
Yeah, we head to Hollywood here. Match point for Team 1, secure another 3-0 victory if they win here to go 2-0 up in the group at large. Almost pretty much guaranteed to at least finish second in that group at that point, I think. So Team 1 are looking the team to beat here from all the teams we've seen so far, Altruism. And I'm excited to see whether teams can come up with a solution to what Team 1 are bringing to the fore. One thing I will say about Salmon's play is he is very, very resource hungry. There's a lot of times on Circuit Royale there where we saw him being pocketed by a Mercy. Broadly speaking, you don't really want to have to force your Mercy to be pocketing your tank. She offers more with the damage boost than she does with the healing beam. So that is something that you could maybe, as an opposing team, look to take advantage of. If you can get rid of Mushi on the that should be your primary target. I think that the team oscillates very well around Salmon's ability to assert himself on the front line, and that is enabled greatly by Mushi on the Mercy. But that's something that they could quite easily respond to by picking something that could back Salmon a lot more comfortably, like a Moira and Anna or something like that, without committing all of their healing to Salmon. So we'll have to wait and see whether they're forced to make that adjustment, because Mushi has been fully all in on the Mercy so far. But so far, Tokstarters have struggled. And Lord of Terrors, like I say, he seems to believe that the best path to victory for them is for him to be on the Winston. And I don't know if that is what's working best for Tokstarters right now. I think he's been excellent on that hero. I think we can agree, Altruism. We saw him on Ilios especially. He was not the problem on Ilios, if I can put it that way. But
other stuff is happening.
It's not pushing them to victory is how I'll put it.
Okay. It's interesting. I like it kind of when you consider the problems that Team 1 is posting right now. Raven's doing a lot. So if Lord of Terran is comfortable and careful with their jump uses, then yeah, Lord of Terrans can help out with the Genji and stop Raven doing too much. Can help with confirming the Mercy. I think that Lord of Terrans right now, good shooting from Blaine to be able to track that Echo over the top. But yeah, I feel like Lord of Terrans is uncomfortable in taking a fist-to-fist tank battle against Salmon right now, because like you say, Salmon is getting a lot of resources and doing a lot with them. So Terran's just maybe looking to deal with the Mercy, get the backline, create some space, look at me without actually having to take the fight.
I think I would like to see Terran play a hero that he can carry more on, if I can put it that way. Something where if he gets resources, he can dominate the front line. Because at the moment, what his playstyle is very much, I'm going to make space for my DPS to try and put damage in, but it's not working out. As we see, he is making space, he is pulling attention, but his team is not able to follow up on that at the moment. And they're getting cleaned up here very, very effectively by a very, very effective Team 1 squad. But I'd like to see Tokstarters maybe put a little bit more emphasis on powering up their tank, who I think is, on paper, the carry on this team, right? At least from what we think of when we think of the players on these teams.
Yeah. So instead of Lord of Terrans backing down in a pick like this, like I was saying, instead going aggressive and matching and putting more into it, getting all the value that you can out of your tank. And I mean, we know Lord of Terrans is a fantastic jungle queen. And that's all theory, though, The fly over the top comes through. 2 shots on the Mercy. Just needs 1 more to be able to shut her down. Stays alive. Mushi gets the res as well. And Tokstar is after a great entry into this fight. Again sent scuttling backwards. Mushi.
I really, and I only say that with hindsight of what we've seen so far. They know Terrence at the back here, by the way. They are searching for him. If he dies now, that'll be another 20 seconds off the clock here. Might find the kill, but no, the cover is there. He's got the ultimate. Again, buying space for his team, but where is his team? They're currently waddling out of spawn, but he does find the kill onto Blaine. That could be a very, very important kill. Now looking onto the supports. Is he able to score anything? No, he's not. And meanwhile, once again, Altruism, his backline is evaporating.
Oh, Salmon is just able to put in big chunks of damage. You got tokens slicing through to get those breakpoints down a little bit, and the 2 of them can just kind of been abandoned on the front line. I mean, there was a Winston still hanging around even after the ultimates, and Team 1 goes, okay, you guys take care of everyone there. We've got this. Don't stress. We'll survive. And we'll meet up in like 5 minutes for pancakes.
Oh my god, and Salmon finds the pick onto Kama there as well. They're not running a Mercy, so no red, so that's another 15 seconds off the clock here. They're under a ton of pressure now, but they've got
not the
shelters. Tox dueling up, and once again, Terrence in the backline, but Salmon simply does not care.
Yeah, the back line is very much an abstract concept right now when it comes to Salmon. He runs 10, 20 meters ahead of his team and says, the back line's still back there, guys. Just calm down, stay there. We'll be fine.
I mean, I've had games like this, Altruism, where you don't even know what heroes your teammates are playing. You're just so focused on what's happening in front of you, and the backline is just a black hole that heals come out of, and that's what it feels like Salmon is experiencing right now. Is once again we've got the Valk from Mushi, pressure being put on once again, but here comes the Dragon Blade.
This is actually very big. Toxtados might find something out of this. The res does eventually come out, and Kama going to go and use that straight away and put it back down. It's still Salmon though. It's still the Salmon show. You can't get rid of this gigantic force.
Oh, that is 20-player kill streak, by the way. I think he hasn't died once in this map. I say that on correction, but he has been absolutely untouched. And what he's benefiting from most right now is the fact that his backline is extremely adept at parrying Terran Lord's aggression, right? And he's extremely adept. And what's happening is 3 players in the background are taking care of each other. Smooshy and the 2 DPS, and Coconuts is taking care of Salmon. So Salmon is still able to assert himself on the front line without getting killed. And he's playing a hero that excels at that, right? He's got the Nemesis form, he's got the right click to mitigate a ton of damage, and he gets all the armor as well. So he can brawl there, even if the rest of the team is kind of distracted behind him. And like I keep saying, I don't think Terran Lord is doing the wrong thing. I don't think he's playing badly, but it's not working. And at that point, you ask yourself, what can I do as a player, as a leadership figure within this particular squad? What can I do to try and, facilitate my team performing better? And I think that's where you've got to look, because I'm sure if you've played a lot of comp, a lot of quickly, you've had games like this. We're like, I'm doing everything right. I'm doing everything right, and my team is not winning. And at that point, you got to ask, maybe I need to do stuff a bit differently to energize my team, to facilitate them doing what they can do best.
And I like this. Lord of Terran taking a more proactive character. The Ram we've seen in Salmon's hands do so much, so they've mirrored that. And Token going out onto the Mei. We don't need to kill everything with every one of your shots. That's not what we're asking of you. You can just get that wall up at the right time, and misses the first one there, so still going to have to worry about a little bit of pressure coming out from Team 1. They're not in any hurry either. They want to get themselves into right positions. And how the hell did Ram get up there so quickly? That was insane.
I'd look to see if they had a sim or something to get up there, but thankfully I was Juno. They just did a sprint up the stairs there through the ring of speed. But this is a good start from top starters. A good job getting those picks. As you pointed out, Altruism, I like this from Terran Lord. I think this is it's a different approach. We'll see if it's a better approach or not, but the previous one wasn't working, and this one has an opportunity to work just a little bit better for him and his DPS. So we'll have to wait and see. He's going to be dueling with Salmon a lot, and it does kind of force this Kama Blaine duel once again. We'll have to wait and see whether Kama can find a little bit more pay dirt on the Ashe than he did with the Widow, where Blaine really was dominant. Oh, not quite able to find the final shot.
Fight still determined by this higher ground. Raven into the back line, boot back by the shotgun. A really nice from Come On, the Talk Starters. Throws a nice dynamite over the top, and the Vortex also doing work on the point, but it's Salmon. It's always Salmon running forward. Lord of Terror trying to do the same sort of the cosplay of it, it feels like right now, because on the point, it's just Salmon. There's a desperate attempt. The Mercy wants to get someone back into this fight, but just going to get claimed at the end of it. And Team A1, they take their full defend first points. They clean it up in basically their second fight here, and they take this 3-0. This Team 1 looking to walk away with that ranking at the end.
Yeah, the Team 1 is a prediction, not a team name right now, right? They've looked untouchable so far in this map, and they kind of plugged that hole that I was a little bit worried about after Circuit Royale in terms of forcing Mushi to spend too much time to maximize Salmon's efficiency and keep him alive. That wasn't happening at all on Hollywood on their attack. It was Coconuts on the Juno keeping Salmon alive, and that makes a ton more sense. Those two heroes synergize in terms of their skill sets so well, and they did it there perfectly, right? It meant Salmon could do whatever he wants, and it was only taking resources away from Coconuts. So really, really good stuff from the team. Peter's giggling in my ear here while he adjusts my whole life here. Really, really great stuff from Team 1 there. And I think Team 2, I keep wanting to call them, but Talk Starters, yeah, they've got a little bit of soul searching to do in a competitive sense. I think I keep pointing it out, but I don't think Terranord played that badly at all. I think he looked excellent, and I think he was making so much space without feeding relentlessly. And we've seen Winston's do that in the past. We've seen him do that in the past, and that's not what was happening. He'll feel like I was making so much space in that game while we were still getting dominated. And Ultras, I'm going to preempt your question that you're chambering there to fire at me, which is your player of the match. I think for me, the difference between these two teams was Raven, right? I think Raven on the flank, we saw on Hollywood there, on that defense, Talk Starters, we were looking through the eyes of Karma for most of that second fight. He had to spend so much time looking at that staircase where he knew Raven was. And in that time, he's not countering Blaine. He's not shooting at Salmon. So Terranord is losing out on that. We know Blaine is shooting whoever he wants from that off angle because he's got no pressure on him from coming in from anywhere else. For me, I think the difference between these two teams, yes, Salmon is a monster, but I think Terran can match him. Yes, Blaine was a monster, but we didn't get to see Kama take that duel in a fair way. And for me, it was Raven rather, who stood out as the point of difference between these two squads.
I like it. I back it. So there we go. That's such a hard one to call though, because it wasn't the individual play. It's the fact that they played together, and that's Raven was I think exhibited the best skill on the individual hero, which required a lot of skill and reading it very quickly, which is why I back this completely. I want to give some Mercy love though. That was fun to watch. Mushi, you're my little side shout out there because you stayed alive through big moments, Valkyrie or not. And so the fact that Salmon had the freedom to go do this. Salmon reminds me a lot of Super BH, which we'll get to see just now, right?
You hit the nail on the right.
Right? It's that aggression. It's that give me lots and I will do lots mentality, and they live up to it.
It's the play style. It's everything. They are cut from the same cloth, that's for sure. But watching Salmon, I'm sure I confused them in my head a lot, in fact, because they both have names that start with S as well. So I think I kind of paint them with the same brush, but they absolutely have the same playstyle. But I think Salmon is more effective, I have to say. I rate Super BH very highly, but Salmon has proven it in this competitive space, not just here in the Talon Cup, but in the LAN last year as well. So I back Salmon, man. He's big guns, and I think this Team 1 will be Team 1 by the end. Bold prediction, but there's plenty of Overwatch to be played throughout the weekend, so we'll have to wait and see.
Well, we will get to actually see, or at least I hope we get to see that matchup of Salmon versus Super BH. They're good. I think that one would be a fun one to stick around for. We'll throw that in if we can. After the break, though, like Sun Phoenix says, there is more Overwatch. We're going to get to see Team 1 playing again and Tank for their jump up there. And this was Cheeto's team from earlier, so I'm sure he's been watching the stream. Shout outs and good luck That's what I'm gonna say. You got a lot of things to think about in the next hour before we come back, guys. So we will be back at 6 o'clock for the start of our next game. It's a good time to grab some lunch, but we'll be back just after this.
quit, I think not. Coming hot for the #1 spot, yeah. No key, got the game on lock, ayy. Big threes when I take my shot, ayy. On the rise and we ain't gon' drop on the grind. It's our time, just watch.
If you want it, you can get it. Life gets hard, but don't you let it get you down. Go get the crown because our time is now.
Hey, we gotta get it. Gotta get up, gotta go, we gotta get it. Hey, they won't forget us. Made it happen and we all became legends. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it. We can't be contained when we leave the game. My name will remain. We don't need the fame. You can keep this chain. We broke free, so things won't be the same. Nah, on the mission, gotta get it. Let's work. We were raised on the net. I'm raising my net worth, but it ain't about the money. Nah, it ain't about the cause. All that matters is the world knows who we are. Stars.
If you want it, you can get it. Life gets hard, but don't you let it get you down. Go get the crown because our time is now.
Hey, we gotta get it. Gotta get up, gotta go, we gotta get it. Hey, they won't forget us. Made it happen and we all became legends. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it, gotta get it, gotta get it. We gotta get it.
Know that our time is now. Yes, life can get hard, but don't